Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about ASAP Rocky. Now, ASAP Rocky is in the news today because of this case that he's got going on that alleges that ASAP Rocky shot at a member of the ASAP mob, or I should say a former member of the ASAP mob by the name of ASAP Relli. And we come to find out that based on the information provided by ASAP Relli, ASAP Rocky got locked up, man, and was charged with 2 assault cases with a firearm. You know what I mean? So he was hit with 2 firearm assault cases, and it's looking bad because in a time when he should probably be happy from welcoming a brand new baby to this world with Rihanna, who happens to be a billionaire and all that, he's catching headlines for all the wrong reasons. Now, there's a story that just kicked off today where a reporter that was in the court talked about how ASAP Rocky pleaded not guilty, man, and gave some insight on the information that the judge gave, and you get to see ASAP Rocky in court. Now, before we get to the clip and talk about all this information, do me a favor. Make sure y'all hit that like button, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that about it away, man, let's talk about ASAP Rocky. Now, I'll be referencing this story from the Yahoo News, right? Now, in the headline of the story, it says this. It says ASAP Rocky pleads not guilty to 2 counts of assault with a firearm in LA court. Now, going into court, most people didn't know how he was going to plead. Man, to be real, most people didn't know ASAP Rocky was going to be in court today. But it looks like he showed up with the suit on, was really about business, and had his lawyer there with him, man. So it looks like he also pled not guilty. Now, that might come as a surprise when you got somebody from his own camp, or at least somebody who used to be with his camp, basically suing him in order to get compensation for ASAP Rocky allegedly shooting him. You know what I'm saying? So there ain't no way around the fact that dude is telling. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't hide that he's telling on ASAP Rocky or whatever. And he feels like he got wronged and he needs compensation. Now, I ain't not the moral police, and I am definitely not the police on snitching. But, man, according to what the story says, it seems like there's a lot of information stacked up against ASAP Rocky. Now, if you guys don't remember this situation from November, let's actually look at a clip of the news story when this kicked off.
ASAP Rocky was taken into custody by LA police in connection with a shooting in Hollywood late last year. Police arrested the performer after he returned to LAX on a trip to Barbados with his famous girlfriend, music superstar Rihanna. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Starworth is live in West Hollywood with more on today's arrest. Leo?
Hey, my friend, we're just outside of the rapper's home this morning. This area where I am right now was crawling with paparazzi. The rapper's security detail out here keeping everyone at bay. Here's more on the story. The LAPD serving a search warrant this morning at the West Hollywood home of 33-year-old music artist Rakim Mayers, his stage name ASAP Rocky. Police arresting ASAP Rocky early this morning at LAX, booking him on assault with a deadly weapons charge. The rapper is dating singer Rihanna, who is pregnant with his child. Investigators arresting ASAP Rocky in connection with a shooting in Hollywood in November of last year. Detectives saying the shooting coming on the heels of an argument involving several men. Detectives say a victim suffering minor injuries in the shooting. Following the shooting, ASAP Rocky allegedly fled the scene with 2 additional men. Detectives aggressively working the case, eventually closing in on the rapper as a suspect in the violence. Just days before his arrest, the rapper had been photographed in Barbados with Rihanna, the high-profile celebrity couple announcing in January that they were expecting their first child together. They haven't revealed the due date. In 2019, the rapper was the focus of international attention after being detained for nearly a month in Sweden following a street brawl. He was found guilty of assault and given a conditional sentence. That meant no additional time in jail. In this latest case against the rapper, I got a note from the DA's office saying that a case has been presented to the office and is under review. The rapper's bail in this case, more than $500,000, which he posted and has been released.
Now, that news clip is when ASAP Rocky first got arrested, man. And this was only a few months back. And it was a surprise to everybody. I'm pretty sure a surprise to ASAP Rocky because so much time had passed by since the November shooting. You know what I mean? Now, ASAP Rocky is looking at a lot of time in court, man. And it seems like him and his team are taking this thing seriously. Now, the story goes on to say this. It says ASAP Rocky has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of assault with a firearm following an incident in Los Angeles last November. Now, it also goes on to say that he was dressed in a dark suit, glasses, and wore a black face mask and spoke only to confirm his name and acknowledge his rights. So he didn't say much in court today. But there was a court reporter that was in the court today who took a video of everything that happened with ASAP Rocky. And here's a little snippet of that.
Follow, stalk, molest, destroy or damage personal or real property, disturb the peace, keep under surveillance, or block the movements of the protected person in disorder. You must not own, possess, buy or try to buy, receive or try to receive, or otherwise obtain a firearm or ammunition. You must surrender to local law enforcement or sell to a licensed gun dealer any firearm owned by you or subject to your immediate possession or control within 24 hours after service of this order, and you must file a receipt.
Now, in that clip, you could hear that the judge was reading off all the things that ASAP Rocky couldn't do. She was saying that, ASAP Rocky can't have a gun. If he has any guns, he's got to turn them over to law enforcement. If there's anything that he gets into, like any type of trouble while he's out, it's going to be a big deal and be a problem, obviously, right? So there was a lot going on, man. But there was also a tweet that was put out by the same person who put out that video. And let's read through that, man, because it says this. Now, the tweet says this. It says, rapper ASAP Rocky is arraigned this morning. He is charged with alleged assault with a firearm against a former friend last November. Now, we know that former friend that they're talking about is ASAP Relli. And ASAP Relli is not shy at all about trying to get his money for allegedly being shot by ASAP Rocky. So let's talk about that. So the story goes on to say, during the incident, Mayers, which is ASAP Rocky, is alleged to have pointed a semi-automatic handgun at the victim, identified as fellow rapper ASAP Relli, before allegedly firing in his direction in a subsequent confrontation. So letting it be known that there was some sort of confrontation and that ASAP Rocky allegedly fired in ASAP Relli's direction. Now, Relli, whose real name is Terrell Efron, is a former friend of ASAP Rocky, but filed a lawsuit against him last week. Now, in legal documents filed by ASAP Relli's lawyers, they claim that ASAP Rocky's conduct had been extreme and outrageous and had caused their client to suffer extreme emotional distress. And that's what he's suing on behalf of, man. Also, it goes on to say that further, the defendant purposely or with reckless disregard caused a bullet, projectile / fragment to hit the plaintiff. So saying that ASAP Rocky shooting at him had a projectile or a fragment end up hitting him, man. So what he's looking for right now is $25,000 in the lawsuit. And also, ASAP Relli's attorneys want his medical bills paid for now and the future with anything dealing with this situation, because they say that he's starting to suffer from psychological, mental, and emotional harm. You know what I mean? And he said that this action was a substantial factor in causing that. So we'll see how this plays out on the civil side with ASAP Relli, but you got to admit that this probably helped law enforcement build their case against ASAP Rocky. But y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Do y'all think that since ASAP Relli was in the ASAP mob and they are once at a time crew, that, he should have not told on ASAP Rocky or just tried to handle this outside of the legal system? Or do you feel like, hey, man, once you shoot at me, it's all gloves off, man. It is what it is. And if I have to bring a lawsuit, I got to bring a lawsuit. And if out of that lawsuit, they bring evidence against you, it is what it is. Now, with that, this has been your boy, Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace.